What up, nerds? My name is Leslie. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative, a channel where I like to talk about all sorts of fun bookish related things in the science fiction, fantasy, horror, and manga genres. In today's episode of fun, I'm going to talk to you about series that I've already begun in 2020 that I plan to complete or continue in 2021. What that means is if they're a completed series, I have plans to finish that series out. And so for the series that are not completed, I just mean I want to read up to date on what is currently out for each of those series. These are not in any particular order. I just have them stacked here on the floor, so I'm just going to grab and go. The first trilogy that I plan to continue and complete is The Story of Evil by Toni Johnson. I did read book 1, A Hero's Downfall, in 2020, and I really enjoyed it. So I know that the third book in the trilogy is supposed to be out early 2021, I do believe. So I do have the second book in that trilogy, Companion's Crusade. I wanted to wait a little bit until I read the second one so it would be fresh enough that when the third book dropped, I was going to be ready to roll on it. So that is supposed to be out in early 2021. So this will be a trilogy I will complete. So the next series that I started in 2020 that I'm looking forward to continuing in 2021 is the Nightmareland Chronicles by Daniel Barnett. The first 3 books came out in 2020. Book 4 comes out January 26th. And guys, the Flashlighters, oh man, I cannot tell you how much I adore this series. It is one of my favorite series of 2020. I cannot wait to continue. I don't know that all 12 volumes will be released by the end of 2021, so this may be one that continues over into 2022. So the next series that I'm going to be continuing from 2020 is the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. This was a shelf space book club pick one month in 2020, and I absolutely loved it. I knew that I would because I love the show, but the books have been an absolute delight. So I plan to continue reading those books, but I'm also going to incorporate the short stories that are in between the books. So this one will probably carry over into 2022 as well. I will also be continuing and completing the Wayward Pines trilogy. I can just hear Michael Nip cheering. This is one that I started in 2020. I buddy read the first 2 with Kayla from Cracking to a Good Book, and then the last book I just let fall by the wayside. So this trilogy is going to be top priority to continue and complete in 2021. Up, I'll be completing the Patience of a Dead Man trilogy by Michael Clark. The third book is called Anger is an Acid. This is one I will be buddy reading in February with Brad Proctor. Oh man, our friend Sharon already read it and she was telling us how much she enjoyed it, so we were both extremely excited to complete this trilogy. This series was one of my top favorites of 2020. So the next series is a fantasy series I cannot wait to continue. It's by independent self-pub author J.P. Harker. The first book is called Wildcat. I love Wildcat, and I just have no excuse as to why I did not continue this series. Book 4 is going to be out any day now. It may even already be out and I've just dropped the ball on it, but this is one I plan to get caught up on this year in 2021. So for those of you who've been around long enough, you'll remember when I read Assassin's Apprentice and it broke my heart and it made me angry, and I actually threw the book and threw basically a major fit about Robin Hobb. The woman is brutal, but I just can't tell you another fantasy author who has prose as beautiful as Robin Hobb, and she is a fantastic crafter of fantasy stories. I will be completing the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb in 2021. Next up, I will be continuing and catching up to date on the Sinlin Ascend series by Josiah Bancroft. There are 3 books out now. I believe there's supposed to be a 4th coming out in 2021 later in the year. So I'm looking forward to continuing this little journey. I will also be continuing and completing the Powder Mage trilogy by Brian McClellan. This one I got started on in December because the first book in the trilogy, Promise of Blood, was the shelf space book club pick. I went ahead and got the whole trilogy because Ramsey from Rajathon and Tyler from my Discord loved this series, and it's a safe bet anything those two guys like, I'm gonna like. Our reading tastes are just so close. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on the whole series, and I cannot wait to finish this one out. And here is the real reason why I decided to continue and complete the Farseer trilogy by Rob and Hobb. It's because of Ship of Magic by Rob and Hobb. In December, the World Hoppers group did a Secret Santa, and we drew names, and the name that I drew was Andy Smith. And what we were supposed to do is go to that booktuber's channel, find one of their favorite books they reviewed, read and review that book ourselves, which we released on our channels on December 21st. So I'll throw that up in the cards for you to check out. This book I knew before I was even a quarter of the way through it was going to be a 5-star read for me. Absolutely loved it. But I heard that one of the books in this trilogy does spoil the ending of the Farseer trilogy. So I decided to try to put some walls up around my heart and complete the Farseer trilogy so I could read this one without it getting spoiled. The Farseer trilogy is definitely a means to an end, and I'm not putting that series down. It was a beautiful story, but man, it just wrings your heart out. The woman just devastated me with that story. I mean, broke me. I am forever grateful to Andy for this being his favorite book, and also being indirectly responsible for me reading it and making me fall in love with Rob and Hobb. So Liveship Trader series, cannot wait to continue and complete in 2021. And then finally, for series that I started in 2020 that I want to complete or catch up to date in 2021, is the Locked Tomb trilogy. I read Gideon the Ninth in 2020, and Hera the Ninth came out in 2020. I just never got around to reading it because by the time it came out, I wanted to reread Gideon the Ninth just to get up to date, because I remember there being a whole lot of characters and a whole lot of stuff going on. I just wanted to refresh myself. So I'm going to continue and maybe complete the trilogy. I want to say the third book is coming out in 2021. I may be wrong, but I may be right. At any rate, I plan to continue and catch up to date on this series in 2021. And so that will take care of all of these series that I began in 2020 that I am going to continue and complete or catch up to date in 2021. Are any of these series favorites of yours? Hit me up in the comments down below or in Discord. Let's chat about it. As always, the link to the Nerdy Narrative Discord will be in the description box down below. Every day is a good day to talk about books, in my opinion. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. Thank you for taking time out of your day to see what is going on in my little corner of the world. I hope your morning is off to a fantastic start. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.